Hey, this is the Review Junkie, and today I'll be letting you know the worst films of 2023. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. And if you like movies, art, and comic books, please hit that subscribe button because all my reviews are hand-drawn, and I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon so my channel can be official. Now, I know these lists can be tough and a lot of work went into making these films. It's not a one-man show and it takes true dedication, so the W word is kind of harsh. Let's just say these are the big disappointments of 2023. But let me stress this fact: the closer you are to number one, the more I really disliked your movie. And to be fair, I'm only going to include the movies I reviewed on my channel. My 2023 goal was to get as many reviews in as I could, but because my reviews are hand-drawn, it takes a bit of time, and I have a full-time job, which creates challenges. Currently, my channel doesn't have the subscriber base for me to do this full-time, and hopefully one day I can. If you want to help me reach my 2024 New Year's resolution, then please feel free to share this with your friends and have them subscribe if they love art and movies. It would be much appreciated. So starting things off at number 10 is It Lives Inside. The reason this is at number 10 is because this is from a first-time director. I'm trying to be understanding because, like any craft, it takes time to develop. You don't just pop out the womb being efficient at everything. This trailer had me hooked and looked so good. The demon in a bottle idea is interesting, but it ended up being rather dull with some serious pacing issues, and I sat there the whole time waiting for something exciting to happen, and nothing ever does. The performances by the two female leads were pretty forgettable as well. In at number 9 is Hypnotic. This is another one that had such an interesting trailer, and when I went in, I found the premise to be very interesting as well. Characters with mind control powers. Sounds like a winning recipe, right? Though it wasn't the most entertaining, I kept my fingers crossed things would turn around. Well, it didn't. As soon as the second act comes to a close and he kisses his wife, even though he had no idea it was her, it just completely goes off the rails. All the mystery and reveals fall flat, and it couldn't rebound whatsoever. On top of that, the villains are wearing ill-fitting red trench coats. Not only is the film a crime to cinema, but a fashion victim as well. Okay. In at number 8 is A Knock at the Cabin. Now, I love mystery suspense thrillers, but this movie had no mystery, suspense, or thrills. It's such a shame because the entire cast of actors are super talented. They all delivered with what they had to work with. But M. Night Shyamalan botches it once again. He has all these big grand ideas that he only seems to be able to execute in Acts 1 and 2, and then completely decides to phone it in for Act 3. I don't know if he doesn't have the budget for something grand, or he's exhausted from all the work he put into the first 2 acts, that he just decides to phone it in for Act 3. No idea. Poor third act execution. Everything that could have been explosive in Act 3 never materializes. At number 7 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I secretly root for Ant-Man because Part 1 is one of my favorites in the MCU, but every subsequent entry could not recapture the magic and charm of Part 1. It's unfortunate because Paul Rudd is so likable. This, much like a lot of the films in the MCU Phase 4 and 5, are complete duds. It does not move the MCU phase or narrative forward in any way. It's a filler episode. The trailer was actually misleading because you think it's about time travel and it's not. On top of that, it almost takes a risk in the last 10 minutes and decides to backtrack it instead. In at number 6 is The Meg 2: The Trench. I actually didn't think this was that bad, but this needed an R rating. When you have a batshit crazy level premise, embrace it. Swing for the fences. This did none of that till maybe the last 20 minutes, and that wasn't enough. On top of that, the young actress had these ridiculous meatballs, and it made her look so juvenile. So we're at the halfway point, and it saddens me to do this because I'm a big fan of the director, and that's Cocaine Bear. Elizabeth Banks has a knack for comedy, and she's a talented actress that can do both comedy and drama. But the more movies she directs, it makes me question her directing ability. Here is a movie about a bear on cocaine. Endless possibilities, right? It's called Cocaine Bear, and the bear is hardly in it. This movie really should have been called Aimless Country Bumpkins in the Woods, because that's really all that is happening here. Okay. The only thing I remember is this cool 80s score playing in the background, and that was it. In at number 4 is The Nun 2. The first one got trashed, but I was still staying positive they could deliver a sequel that entertains, and it doesn't. I really sat there bored out of my mind with this look on my face. The lead is giving it her all, and so is the little kid, but Storm Reed really feels out of place in this one. Wrong century. The scares weren't there, the mystery wasn't there, and the reveal lacked any impact. Just completely wasted. Even with that, and I know I'm begging for trouble, I actually secretly want a third one so they can try to go out on a bang, but it'll probably be terrible too. In at number 3 is Megan. This was actually my number 1 spot the moment I finished the movie, but it got lucky and is now at number 3. I have no idea what people saw in this movie. It was so beloved that it got its own SNL sketch. What movie did they see? This was not what I wanted. It was a full-blown comedy, and I wanted to be entertained. I wanted to jump out of my seat and have nothing but sweaty hands, and I got none of that. There is a way to do camp and horror, but this just didn't work for me. This is another one where the trailer ends up being better than the whole movie, and I feel Blumhouse keeps shooting themselves in the foot with these PG-13 ratings, and I don't need a sequel for this one. In at number 2 is Barbie. This was also my number 1 worst film after I walked out of the theater. It's one of those movies you think you know what it is from the trailer, and you hope going in that it isn't, and it totally ends up being exactly what you thought it was from the trailer alone. Toy goes into the real world and wants to be real. Very original. This wasn't made for kids, and it's unfortunate we got this as the IP's first outing. And to this day, I am shocked Mattel let this happen. But everyone got their direct deposit, so nobody is complaining anymore. Such interesting themes and messages go completely wasted because the director beats you over the head with it, thinking you won't know any of these themes or messages unless it's spelled out for you. Because the audience is dumb, right? The best part is the first 20 minutes in Barbie Land and everything falls apart right after. For a diverse cast, the diverse actors didn't get much to do. So the reason Barbie is not at number 1 is because the director has done excellent work prior. But the number 1 movie takes the Razzie cake. Not only did this director do 1 bad movie, not 2 bad movies, and not 3, but 4 bad movies in a row. That takes some elephant-sized balls to deliver 4 bad movies in a row. How they don't bleed when the director David Gordon Green walks is beyond me. Okay. And at number 1 is The Exorcist Believer. I almost wet my pants when I found out he was directing this. And to be fair, the 2018 Halloween movie was semi-decent. But I thought maybe he could deliver here, and I was wrong. This movie was so forgettable, and to add salt to the wound, we'll just never find out why Leslie Odom's computer started to glitch when he was looking at a photo on his laptop. That will be the biggest movie mystery of our lifetime that goes unanswered. And how many of you predicted there would be an exorcism in Act 3? I know I didn't. Okay, this really is a crime against cinema, and the only nice thing I can say is the cast was really trying because their performances were good. So that is my worst of 2023. I feel it wasn't a good year for cinema and horror films in general. Maybe it was that pandemic, maybe it was a strike, I have no idea. But that's my list, and please let me know your list below and feel free to be uncensored. Fingers crossed 2024 is a good year for movies. So thanks again for checking out my review. If you like, please subscribe, helps the channel out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button, feel free to share this with your friends. And if you happen to have a movie you'd like me to review, please let me know. I'd be happy to watch and illustrate it for a future video. Thanks again, and I hope the pictures put a smile on your face.